This semester, I was given a few topics and I chose women and criminal defense. Hi, my name is Michaela Mazanko. For this semester in my law and trial class, I focused on the topic of women and criminal defense. This was the main focal point for all of my assignments, including the semester's paper and this presentation. The focus of this presentation not only affected my assignments for this semester, but also helped me focus on my career, as I am a legal assistant for a local law firm. Whether you work in a local coffee shop or a big law firm, or maybe just a small family-run law firm like myself, discrimination against women is a topic that should be of more importance to our society. The daily harassment and sexual discrimination are unjust and need to be brought to the attention of everyone who wants to make a difference and make women feel like they belong. Many times these topics are overlooked due to the normality of our society has made it. But as a fellow woman in the law world, I think it is about time that some light gets shed on the topic of sexual harassment and discrimination towards women. The law versus women. As a woman who is in the legal world, I felt that this topic affected my own career and how I felt women were viewed. The law is significant, keeping conflicts civil and ensuring rules get followed. However, is it truly civil when women in that field are being unfairly treated and sexually discriminated against each other? As a woman myself, I looked further into this to try to see and relate to other women who have come across this problem in the law world. There are many forms of law to complete fair and just actions. However, criminal defense attorneys are the key to solidifying regulations and carrying out the punishments for individuals who break those laws and rules. They help declare and determine jail and probation time and allow the individuals who one day, if proven not guilty, to walk free and determine the fairness of those penalties. Trying to keep disagreements civil and fair, and despite all this, they still seem to have failed at keeping the industry civil and fair when it comes to women. Whether they are a criminal, a judge, an attorney, or even just a normal civilian. Why sexism? Why is sexism such a huge part of our society? It's a huge part of our society in households. It's a huge part of our society in the work field. It is even a huge part of society in marriages. Scholars have uncovered that criminal defense is a very sexist community of lawyers. It is unfair to women viewing and treating women differently. Honestly, any form of work job at this point in the world is very sexist. It doesn't matter what job you have. It is all determined if you're a male or a female. So how come after all these years is sexual discrimination and abuse against women still very high? Why are women seen, portrayed, and represented so poorly in the world of criminal defense? Moreover, what is the relationship between women and court rules? Do court standards and rules play a considerable role in this? Do they help determine if a client will win or lose because you are a woman? Does it determine who the judge rules against or for? Male versus female. Now, this is a very hot topic when coming to the world of law. Honestly, this plays a huge role in any form of job you have. When the law of criminal defense becomes the topic of interest, the idea of a female lawyer does not seem to be the mind. Many do not think of a woman when you think of an attorney or a judge or someone of higher standards or any high official in any job. The idea of a male lawyer appears to come to mind, and when someone is made aware that the lawyer or whoever the individual is a woman, many will falter and second-guess the idea of hiring this said person. As a woman who works in a law office as a legal assistant, I can confirm that I have been told many times that the individual did not want to speak or communicate or do any sort of things with me because I was just a woman. Sexism is a relatively high topic in this world, and many want to discredit or not hire a woman because they are just a woman. Determining whether a woman or man judges and lawyers have different experiences or roles in legal systems and settings and express a distinct consciousness of gender inequality helps bring awareness to the bias, discrimination, and sexual harassment against women in the field of law. Despite the growing fight for equality and holding feminist rights, women still are not seen as equal in the criminal defense world and are often looked down upon as lawyers and judges. Another hot topic in any workforce is sexual harassment and discrimination. This is seen against any women, mainly women of color, or women who have children, or even women who are identified as a lesbian or anybody in the LGBTQ+ community. Women face in criminal defense and law sexual harassment and assaults and discrimination. Sexual harassment and discrimination are heavy in the world of law, court, and judges, causing many complication and hardship for women who are trying or who are already in this profession. The world of judging and regulation is very sexist and gender biased. Women are underrepresented and downright disrespected in the legal profession. No respect is shown towards a woman, no matter how hard she works or how hard she tries to prove herself. I work at a law firm as a legal assistant for my father, who has been an attorney for roughly 12 years. My father has always been very respectful towards women and has always treated his paralegals and myself with the utmost respect. He has never once talked down or misled or mistreated any one of us. However, as I work and get farther along in my career, I realize that not all men are like this. I get first-hand experience with other attorneys as well as clients who don't have any morals and mistreat me just because I am a woman. I've had many accounts where a client has cussed me out or told me that I was not educated enough to tell him or answer his question, only for him to turn around and ask my father, the attorney, and my father give him the same exact answer. But he would not listen to me because I was a woman, but would listen to my father. This is another slide based on discrimination. It's just continuing what I could not fit on the previous slide. As a woman, it can be quite hard in the criminal defense world to stay committed to the field, as there are constant trials that women must face daily. Whether it be the monthly periods that we face with our menstrual cycles, or just the fact that we have a child that needs taken care of, or needs to be seen by a doctor, or maybe it's even a family member that as a woman we feel like we need to take care of. From barriers to entry to being pressured and forced to exit the career due to these discriminations. This discrimination is based most of the time on gender, sexuality, and race and color of an individual woman. This discrimination comes from judges, opposing counsel, clients, and other court individuals. This causes a woman to fight and go into survival mode to prove that as an individual they are capable of their job. There are many ways we can address these challenges by improving how mentors and allies treat a woman in a criminal defense world. Flexibility is also a key contributor to the job for women, especially for those who have children. Another major discrimination problem is, like I said, race and color. A lot of times people will view a Hispanic woman or a black woman differently than they would a white woman. But even then, all women together are very much discriminated against and very much ignored in this field. But it does seem to affect women of color and ethnicity even more. And it also is affected by a lot of women in the LGBTQ+ community who, if not respected by people who don't believe in that culture, will specifically not hire those women or degrade them or make them feel like they don't belong just because they don't identify in what their beliefs are, meaning the beliefs of the person who is hiring that said person in the LGBTQ plus community. As the years of law have progressed, women's equality has remained stagnant, and there seems to be no rush to improve how a woman is viewed or treated in criminal defense law. Despite the fight, women cannot make any progress because of the lack of awareness that men and the society has brought towards the idea that women can be in charge and can in fact do their job that a man can do. A lot of times this is also based on the fact of a man feeling like they need that power over a woman and feel because of that power that they need to make a woman feel vulnerable and weak in order to gain the power of being in charge. Women in law are generally viewed and treated differently in society due to the biased nature of law. Sadly, due to the nature of our society, women might and probably never will be treated fairly or just in the field of law or any workforce. As a woman myself in this field, I feel that there are many steps we can take to try to bring awareness to our community, to our bosses. It is hard as a woman to stand up for ourselves, to make sure our voice is heard, especially because a lot of bosses are men. Now, in today's society, women are becoming more and more in charge. Society is being a little more lenient, if I can say that. Society is definitely accepting. That would be more of the word, accepting the idea of a woman being in charge. However, it still is not civil. It still is not just. So despite the fact that the law helps in making civil and right and just choices and making sure that women, or men mainly, are brought to justice, they still are failing in the fact of making sure women, whether they are the client or they are the judge, lawyer, etc., they are failing at making sure women in general are feeling like they belong in the criminal justice defense world. There are so many accounts that I've heard firsthand where police women are not accepted, and I had a particular aunt who was in that police force, and when it came to her retirement, she was completely ignored and no party was thrown for her. There have been instances where female lawyers have not been in the favor of the judge just because of the fact that they are a woman. And this is very sad. And sadly, at the moment, society is not making any changes to trying to make this fair and just. And the equality of women are still very much in the need of shedding light on it to make sure that we are seen as individuals who are strong and capable of doing any job that a man can do. Thank you.